Om Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpadam Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavadvyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Gukarastvandhakaro Vai Rukarastanivartakaha Andhakara Nirodhitvat Gururithyabhidhiyate Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Vedanta Dindimas Tattvam Ekam Udghoshayanti Yat Astam Purastat Tattejah Dakshinamurti Samgitam. We have seen the first line, Vedanta Dindimaha. And what do they do? Ghoshayanti, Udghoshayanti, declare loudly. What do they declare? Tattvam. Tattvam, the truth, the essence of the Shastras, which is what? Brahman, Ishvara, Bhagavan, God. Not God as a guy in the sky sitting somewhere, but as the truth of everything in the universe, including this body-mind-sense complex. Then we saw the meaning of the word tattvam in detail, and then we saw that this tattvam is connected to and understood as the luminescence, the radiance, tejaha, the radiance and the light. Light because the Atma is always compared to light. Not that it's like an isotope, radioactive, no. It's compared to light because it reveals. Just like light reveals, objects that do not have the ability to reveal themselves. Similarly, Atma reveals everything, including itself. It lights itself up, it is self-revealing, it reveals itself, and it reveals everything else as well. Very, very nice it is. What do you mean Atma reveals itself? Again, we go back to the fundamental question, am I here? Am I here? Are you here? Yes. That is what is meant by self-revealing. No more discussion needed. As soon as the word yes comes out, that means yes. You know you are. That means self-revealing. And everything else is revealed to you. The absence of something revealed to you. The presence of something revealed to you. In the 10th chapter of the Panchadashi, which is called Nataka Deepa, the theatre lamp. The secret of the theatre lamp. A beautiful imagery is presented. And what is the imagery? An outdoor amphitheater, semicircular, nice stone seats, everything from, graded so people can sit. Then there is the stage on the other side. And then tonight there is a dance program. Yippee, very nice. Everybody is waiting with bated breath. And the dancer comes in, the audience is all gathered. The dancer doesn't come in, floats in. She is so graceful. She floats in, jumps around like a gazelle. And the orchestra is so wonderful, melodious. You see the members of the orchestra, you see the dance, you look at the audience as well, and then everybody is clapping, everybody is just so happy. Very, very, very happy. And then everything comes to an end. She takes the final bow, goes away. The audience also go away one by one. Orchestra packs up its instruments, the singers and the instrumentalists, they all go away. What is left? We may say nothing. Svatmavidyananda, the Panchadeshikara, says, what is left is what was there right in the beginning. The big firebrand torch in the middle of the amphitheater, which lighted up the stage, which lighted up the audience, which lighted up the orchestra, which, yes, lighted up the dancer and her movements as well. The dancer was doing Tandava. She was illustrating Shiva and how he created the universe. This is my imagination. And then she is pirouetting and spinning at top speed. But the still light is illuminating both the movement and the absence of movement thereof. The presence of the dancer and the absence of the dancer, the presence of the orchestra, the absence of the orchestra, the presence of the audience, the absence of the audience is able to be documented. If that light, the theatre lamp, had a human mind, it would have so many stories to tell. It would say, oh, this dancer was wonderful. You should have seen 3 years ago, one terrible musician came to town and he was greeted with rotten tomatoes and chappals. And the lamp is the witness to all of that. The presence and the absence, everything is illumined. And similarly, tat tejaha, that light of consciousness, which is the subject matter of this entire Dindima, this is known, and here is a very interesting thing. This is known by, so the light is what? Formless. You can't really objectify the light of all lights. Can you objectify yourself? Say no quickly so we can move on. So, no, you can't objectify yourself. If you could, it would not be yourself. It would be a body part. It would be a thought. It would be a concept. So here is this light of all lights. Itself cannot be objectified. And then it is what? Nirguna. Nirguna means no form, no attributes, simply is. And then what? Then this light is known as Dakshinamurti. Oh, Dakshinamurti, I know where he lives. He lives right there. I see him every evening. I see him every morning. Is this a disconnect? No. Right at the outset, see, a drum beat cannot be expected to, as I said yesterday in the introductory lecture, the drum beat cannot be expected to expound everything like a melodious raga. First we have the improvisation, then we have, the kind of a refrain called sthayi, the first part of the thing. Then we have antara, pallavi, anupallavi, it is called in Carnatic music. All that we don't have time to do this. Drum beat means just pithi, quick. It's a wake-up call. And so, astam purastat tat tejah. May that light that unfolds all lights, the light of all lights, to which even the sun is an object, the moon is an object, all luminaries are objects. That unobjectifiable light of knowledge, may it guide me. This is the prayer. This is what Sat Chit Ananda, Swarupa Lakshana of Bhagavan. We saw Lakshana yesterday. It's not a attribute. What is it? Definition. Then Dakshinamurti Sanyatam. Suddenly we have form. And suddenly we have function. Dakshinamurti in the form of Adi Guru, because we need a teacher. That light has now morphed. As I keep looking at the light, suddenly that flame has grown arms, and that one arm is carrying the flame, another one is carrying the book, another one is in the chin mudra. Chin mudra has nothing to do with the chin, okay? Yeah. Chin mudra, chit mudra. And then the other one is resting on the lap. Like this, the top hand is carrying the damaru, the drum beat of Vedanta, already there. And this is a form that includes all forms. That's why it is called Ashtamurti, 8-aspected Lord, 5 elements. You have the earth in the stone, Vigraha of Bhagavan. Then you have the air element in the form of the bandhana. In English they call it bandana, but it is bandhana. Okay, yes. So we have the air element. The drum is the space in which sound occurs. The fire is there in the top hand. Fire is there. And then what else? Water. Gangaji, Mother Ganga sitting on the forehead. Water. 5 elements. And then what? Sun, moon. 2 luminaries that we interact with every day. 7. Oh, but I thought you said 8-fold. Who is the eighth? What is the 8th aspect? You, who is looking at the Lord. You complete the Lord, and this is what Dakshinamurti is. And the Lord faces south. South is the place of mortality. Lord Yama's territory, death. And if you face north, what are you facing? Immortality, moksha. And then, is that all? No. There is a little being sitting at the foot. And at first you say, why is he stepping on a baby? What's wrong with this Bhagavan? You go closer, it is no baby. It's just a maybe baby. It's not really a baby. It's a dwarf, a truncated, ungrown, mutant being with a mustache, looking ferocious, and a dagger in one hand, offensive, and a shield in the other, defensive. I didn't do it, not me, somebody else's fault, it's all the time. Unable to take responsibility, unable to have any accountability, all the time blaming the world, blaming everybody else in the universe, and when you run out of people and things to blame, you blame the skies and the planets. And then you say, Shani is in the wrong place. Shani is rarely in the right place. Rahu is always in the wrong place. Ketu is always in the wrong place. 1-7 combo, wrong. 2-8 combo, wrong. Everything is wrong. Each one has some challenges. How else is karma going to come out? Somehow it has to be exhausted. So, here, this is the little fellow, the inner child, unhealed, full of issues. Nobody loves me. Everybody is ignoring me. Why should they pay attention to you? Give me some reasons. What is it that's so special that everybody should be attending to you all the time? Yeah. And that's the first question. Second question is, why do you feel ignored? That's where the introspection has to happen. I have to ask myself, why am I feeling ignored? Why am I feeling neglected? And take the responsibility that perhaps it has something to do with the past. And this is the inner child. The inner child mounts a defense and an offense, and it does not let Vedanta come inside the head. Forget the heart, not even the head. Why? Because one is already getting ahead of oneself. The inner child runs the show and destroys the devotional one, destroys the seeker, destroys the one that is wanting this knowledge so badly and wanting that oneness with everybody, with Ishvara, with Ishvari. That is the thing. With the Shastra, with the teacher. And so, this has to be taken care of. And while it is tempting to give this dangerous looking inner child to somebody else to hold, here, babysit it. What are your hourly rates? Doesn't work out that way. Does not at all work out that way. And yes, you can enter into an agreement called marriage, meaning you hold this for some time and I will hold your inner child for some time. Perhaps that will work for some time. After a while it doesn't work. Then there are certain people, then afterwards it's just a logical conclusion. Okay, inner child, the significant other, has refused to babysit. Friends run in the other direction if I try to brandish this inner child anywhere. And then what shall we do? Give it to the Guru. Simple. Let the Guru take care of it. Nice try. This is yours to take care of. Yeah. And because it won't listen to anybody else. It will only listen to you. The Guru can help to give some tips how to take care of, but it will only listen to you. Because why? It's your baby. Yeah, it's not the Shastra's baby. It's not the teacher's baby. Whose baby is it? Your baby. That's why it is called Apasmara, the one who haunts through difficult memories. It's a little asura. It creates an inner split which has to be made one. You cannot. The whole life has gone neglecting this baby. Therefore, the baby feels neglected, naturally. You have neglected this baby, the baby feels ignored, the baby feels neglected. You have to scoop it up and love it up and integrate. Let it integrate into the adult. You don't throw it out. It is sacred. It is Bhagavat Srishti, Ishvara's creation. And so you have to take care of it. And so we have a tip from Lord Dakshinamurti himself, how to take care of it. What does he do? Put his foot on it lightly. Heel. H-E-E-L, H-E-A-L, both. Heel. Very lovely. And so this is Lord Dakshinamurti. First meaning, south-facing Lord. Another meaning, Dakshaha, the one who is adept in what? Cutting the cords of samsara. Dakshinascha asau amurtascha, the one who is essentially formless. So you see, we started with the Tejaha and then we talked about Lord Dakshinamurti, but essentially Dakshinamurti, Lord's form is what? Formless. Back to this very beautiful first verse, talks about the Swarupa Lakshana of Ishvara as Satchidanandam Brahma, talks about the Tatastha Lakshana. The second kind of Lakshana is called Tatastha Lakshana. A superimposition of the causality on this Ishvara who is free, essentially free of this causality, and then who will, as though, take on the causality and accept the responsibility for this creation in a manner of speaking. Tasya kartaram api mam, akartaram vidhi avyayam. So then, this is the, starts with a big bang. Very big, huge thing. Now, then, verses number 2 to 10, I believe, are all groups of 2. 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. Why there are so many 2s? Because all the things in the world are reduced to 2. Me. In all verses number 2 to 10, one thing is constant. What is that one thing? Me. And what is the other thing? Everything else. And that everything else is seen through various angles. And the me is also seen through various angles. So, what is the... so first way, these are all tentative divisions we have to understand. Because what is Atma? Divisionless. No Dvaita. So the divisionless Atma, suddenly if it is presented like this, you are non-separate from the whole universe. If it is said in the first class, then we have problem. What are the 2 problems we have? First problem, what will I say for the 9 days of the 10-day camp? I will run out of material in the first class itself. What shall we do the rest of the time? That is the first question. Second question is that if the student or the participant is told, you are Brahman and there is nothing else, will it go in? No. We have an expression going in through one ear, coming out the other. But here it goes in through one ear and boomerangs back to the teacher. Doesn't even go through. There is no reference point. There is no preparation. And so, ingeniously from verses 2 to 10 and elsewhere also, the Shastra here reduces everything to 2. The author is one Shankaracharya, Nrisimha Bharati. Very ancient text, 500 years old at least. Swami Nrisimha Bharati, Shankaracharya of Sringeri Pitha. He is the one who is the author. And So ingeniously, everything is reduced to two, me and everything else, and then my relationship to that everything else is talked about in the second line, and then we will just, you wanted to know what are the important verses. So between 2 and 10, we can say 5, 6 and 7 are worth looking into detail. The rest of it I will summarize. Atmanatma padarthau dvau bhoktru-bhogyatva-lakshanau brahmaivatmana dehadihi iti Vedanta Dindimaha. The drum of Vedanta proclaims. What do the beats proclaim? The beats proclaim that there are only two things in the universe. Oh, that's easy. Only two things? Yes. What is that? I, Atma. The meaning of the word Atma is what? I. And then what else is there? Not I. Simple. See, who said Vedanta is difficult? I and not I. This is easy. So, what is this I? So if there are only two things in the world, I have to know what is this I. What is I? Read the second line. What is I? Brahman. I is Brahman. The word Brahman means limitlessly big, huge, limitless. Satchidananda Lakshanam. That which is whole, free and total. This is I. Oh, but what about my body? What about my house? What about my family? What about all the funny notions in my head? And what about the head? Where do all these go? If I am limitlessly whole, essentially formless, in the form of sentient consciousness and all knowledge, and the only source of existence is I, if I just take that for myself, what about everything else? What about this body? Na dehadihi. Not this body, not this mind, not the senses. All that is what? Anatma. Whatever I can objectify with the five means of knowledge, Anatma. Everything is Anatma. What I can see, touch, hear, infer, come to some conclusions about using various pramanas, Anatma. That which doesn't need a means of knowledge to come to light, Atma, I. Do you need somebody else to tell you that you exist? No. Thank God. You don't need anybody else to tell you that you exist. And so it is self-evident I, and then everything else is that which is evident to the I. The mix-up happens because there is some kind of a connection between the not I and the I through the words mine. A sixth case connection, sambandha, is there. I can't say this is not me. The body is not me. Mind is not me. Sense is not me. Mano buddhi ahankara chitta ninaham. Nacha shrotra jihve, nacha ghrana netre. There is a group of 6 verses. I'm not the mind, I'm not the body, I'm not. Then there is a danger of dissociation, already dissociated because of living in Kali Yuga, samsara, so many things, Atma Ajnanam. I don't know if I'm going or coming. I don't know whose body it is. I don't know whose mind it is. Most of the day I'm in a fog, and this is somehow I manage to come to things on time. If I'm lucky, half the things told to me I forget, the other half, the things I just say, you never told me this at all. Takes care of the whole thing. So, already one is dissociated. One is disconnected from Ishvara, from the whole, from the total. One is disconnected from oneself. One is disconnected from friends. One is disconnected from inanimate objects. One is disconnected from nature, from the trees, the river, the mountains, the sun, the flowers. We reach a stage, unfortunately, if this this state of affair goes on, we reach a stage where nothing can make us smile. Look at this beautiful sunset. Look at this lovely flower. Have you seen? Look, somebody has made a beautiful rangoli. Jaded jiva. One already is in this place. You can't get out of this, whatever is going on, to appreciate anything for a minute. Surrounded with and afflicted by the fog of complaints. Why? This dissociation is due to association with sorrow. I have got married to sorrow. We have exchanged rings and we are committed for life. Such a person is fit to be committed. But this is everyone. Everyone is married to sorrow. Oh, please don't wrest me away from sorrow. My life partner, not only in this life, but previous life. Who was your life partner? Sorrow. What about the life before that? Sorrow. I'm married to dukkha. How can you get married to dukkha? I thought you didn't like sorrow. Yeah, I don't like. Who likes anybody that they are married to? You know. Ultimately. Married to dukkha. Because there is something familiar. Somehow I just am attracted to that because I just feel like marinating in that. And then I want somebody to save me. But nobody likes to break up a marriage, so nobody comes to save. This is what happens. And even if there were some people to save, one is already hugging the dukkha and saying, please, can I come along with? No. That's why the Bhagavad Gita in the 23rd verse of the 6th chapter says, Tam vidyat dukkha samyoga viyogam yoga samgitam. Sa nishchayena yoktavyaha yogaha anirvinna chetasa. Know this to be the definition of yoga, Arjuna. What is that? The third definition of yoga is dissociation from association with sorrow. Start the divorce proceedings right away. Just say, you know what, I have grown. Up till now, I was just groaning all the time. Now I have done some not groaning, growing, and then you take a hanky and wave goodbye to the sorrow, fold the hanky up, present it to dukkha, because it will need it, it will cry. And you walk away. This is what is going to be needed to be able to see myself as Brahman and not any other thing. If I catch hold of sorrow and make it my partner for the next 7 lives, then there is what? There is a lot of disconnection, pain, anger, resentment, jealousy, possessiveness. But then it's not easy to leave sorrow. Why? Familiar. Who else will love me like sorrow does? Dukkha loves me more than anyone else. I need a new partner. Who shall I get married to? Brahman. Ishvara. Let the ceremonies begin. This is what has to happen. The old partner who is damp, wet and totally useless, dragging me down into the doldrums all the time, is eschewed for the sake of the one who uplifts me. When I know this to be myself, when I identify with Brahman, I feel there is, a new dawn. The world looks different, everything looks different. I can smile for no reason. I can laugh, I can skip. There is a pep in my step, and I can be present, I can laugh. I can just be relaxed. I don't have tension. I'm not monitoring and being hyper vigilant of people. Are they paying attention to me or to somebody else? Are they loving me or somebody else? I can relax. I can drop. I can be sure of myself. This is why in the beginning we make a difference between Atma and Anatma. Anatma, anything that I can objectify. Atma, that which is myself, which cannot be objectified. Atma is Brahman, not the body-mind-sense complex. But then, what is Anatma? Is Anatma not Brahman? Anatma is also Brahman. But in the beginning, we have to separate before uniting. We are not separating. The separation is already there. It is just being highlighted in 2 ways. Two, we'll see this. In 2 ways it's being highlighted. So that the mix-up between Atma and Anatma is totally eschewed. It's very clear. And so, going on, now we will go to 5, 6 and 7. Because it's such a beautiful text. First, I'm always much more ambitious than I think I can do. But it is not possible to do everything. I can't help myself. We are going to do 3. Jnana jnane padarthau dvau atmano mukti bandhadau jnanan muktir nibandhonyat iti Vedanta Dindimaha. To the question, why on earth would I want to marry sorrow and remain married to sorrow, this answer is given. Again, there are 2 things. What are they? Jnanam, knowledge. What knowledge? Knowledge of the self. What other kind is there in these halls? Knowledge of the self, jnana, and what else? Ajnana, ignorance, the opposite of that. 2 things are there. One is the cause of liberation. The other is the cause of bondage. This is what it says. Nirmukti bandhadau. Bandhadaha, dau, plural. Nirmukti means what? Freedom. Liberation. Liberation from being married to sorrow. That is what the liberation is. And the other one is what? Ajnanam, which causes bondage. Okay, so what should I choose? Jnanam. Why? Jnanat muktihi. This should be written, written everywhere. If you're thinking of getting a tattoo, this is a good idea. Jnanat muktihi. Very nice idea for a tattoo. Freedom is only through knowledge. No other way. Why? Because the distance between you and Brahman is not through karma, cannot be bridged through action. And so this is why knowledge alone frees, everything else binds. Everything else puts you in a freeze. That's why this is what has to be understood properly. And so, jnana jnane padarthau dvau, and then jnanat muktihi. And then what is nibandha? The ni stands for nishchayena bandha. Definitely there is bandha. Through what? Ajnanam. This is what the drum beat is telling us right now. Then we will go to the fifth one. Sukha dukkhe padarthau dvau. Sukha dukkhe padarthau dvau. Priya vipriya karakau. Priya vipriya karakau. Sukham brahma jagad dukkham. Sukham brahma jagad dukkham. Last one we'll say together. Iti Vedanta Dindimaha. Again there are two things. What are they? Sukha, Dukkha. Oh, we were just talking about them. And here they are. Sukha, Dukkha. Sukha Dukkhe. Since both are neuter, they run like phalam phale. Sukham, Sukhe. Sukha Dukkhe. Two padarthas, two things. Padartha means things. You know why it means thing? Because pada means word, artha means meaning. So the definition of thing is the word and its meaning. That's all a thing is. A word to which a meaning is attached. Everything is dependent upon vak, speech. All the things we take so seriously and cannot seem to live without are dependent on what? Words and meaning. Everything in the Jagat is a series of words and meanings. Table, word and meaning. Chair, word and meaning. Hall, word and meaning. Door, word and meaning, word and meaning. Lamp, word and meaning. Darkness, word and meaning. Computer, word and meaning. Orange, apple, grapes, all kinds of fruits, word and meaning, word and meaning, word and meaning. Like this, the whole Jagat is nothing but word and meaning. It's all precariously balanced on a series of words and meanings, which I, the Atma, wields. Very, very interesting. So here, Sukha and Dukkha are again two things, two words which have meaning. And then what about them? Sukha Dukkhe padarthau dvau, and one is Priya, lovable. Which is lovable? Sukha, even though one is married to Dukkha. Yes. Sukha is lovable, and the other one is Viparita. Viparita means opposite of that. Vipriya. Vipriya doesn't mean excessively dear. Opposite of dear. Undear. You want to befriend Sukha and you want to unfriend Dukkha. This is how it is. Priya Vipriya Karakau. Karaka means the factors. The factors that they are the doers, they are the ones that cause a change in my heart. Sukha, whenever I encounter Sukha, I find it lovable. Because it is lovable, I want to extend it. And then whenever I find Dukkha, what happens? I want to get rid of it, yet I am holding on to it. This is what happens. And then, what does he say about this Sukha and Dukkha? Let's look at the other lines. So what is Sukha? It is Atma. Oh, it's Atma? It's I? Yes, it's the nature of I. But that's not what it says in the text. What does it say in the text? Sukham Brahma. But then in the first one or in the second verse, what did it say? Atma Brahma. Therefore, Sukham is what? Atma. Don't say Brahma. Atma. Sukham is I. Atma is Brahman. Sukham is Brahman. So therefore what? Sukham is Atma. Sukham is the nature of I. That is why I can't handle unhappiness. I can't handle unhappiness even though I am addicted to reproducing it all the time. I can't handle unhappiness. Sukham Brahma. Sukham Atma. Atma Brahma. There is no other Brahman without being Atma, and the other way round. And what is Dukkham? What does the verse say? Do some work. Yeah. Jagat. Jagat means the whole universe. Ayyo, where to go? This is a little too extreme. Come on. You can get away with this in the halls of this ashram saying the whole Jagat is Dukkha. Come on. You may find the Jagat, the universe, to be Dukkha producing, but I have a good time in my life. I enjoy my house, I enjoy little creature comforts, I enjoy things, I enjoy my family, I enjoy all these things. How can you say the whole universe is, this is a blanket statement? I don't think this pedagogy is working here. Yeah. Opposite things, and one is all, what you want it to be, and then the other one is just, you put it in the garbage. What is this? How can you say? Where is the proof that the whole Jagat is nothing but sorrow? Proof is in one's own life, okay? Yeah. If you need any more proof, what can I say? If you need any more proof, let's go be in the Jagat a little longer. And proof will come. Proof is in your own life. And those of your loved ones, those of the family, you just look around. No, we are happy. And like Swami Viditatmananda ji described, he gave a very good analogy. He said that the Sukha from the Jagat is like this, is always precarious. And he told one story. What was that story? Man was taking a stroll in the forest. Big mistake, right in the beginning. You don't go into the forest for a stroll. In the middle of the stroll, he was trolled by a tiger, which was looking for lunch. Yippee! I'll just have him for lunch. I'll have him over for lunch, the tiger thought, and went in hot pursuit. This fellow ran as fast as the legs could carry him, and then tripped and fell almost into an old dry well. Well, that's a stroke of good luck, he thought. At least, I'm away from the tiger. But the well was deep. He would have broken several bones. And as he was falling, his reflexes were quick. And he just grabbed on to some overgrown roots in between the bricks of which lined the akara, the form of the well. Some roots were growing. And then he was suspended in between. When he looked up, wow, tiger. Then when he had a little time, he looked down, hissing pit of poisonous snakes. And he was like, oh, it's not an option to go down. Is it an option to come up? Not at all. Enough time for the tiger to take out its mobile phone and SMS a few friends. Come, lot of meat is here. This fellow has been eating well and not exercising much. And then he saw something dripping a little bit further. Looked up, it was a hornet's nest, a bee's honeycomb, dripping honey. Tup, tup, tup. He had an idea. Stretched out his tongue as far as it would go. Tasted the honey. Then the root was kind of loosening. Then in between he had to give the attention to the root. He saw two. Along with the roots were two bandicoots, means big rats. They wanted chewed up root material for their nests. And he was holding the roots and they were chewing the very roots that he was holding. In this condition, can't go up, can't go down. And where he is also extremely precarious, precariously balanced on these roots, suspended in mid-air, putting out his tongue and enjoying, so to speak, intermittent, this is called intermittent fasting, intermittent drops of honey, and saying, oh, my life is good, I'm enjoying, so come. That is why we say the Jagat is the root cause of sorrow. What kind of happiness is this? Every happiness is precarious, just like this ancient example gives. Every happiness is extremely precarious, precipitous. Perched on this, just enjoy something and then immediately cascade into the arms of what? Dukkha, misery. And the misery says, I told you, don't go on the other side. I told you we are made for each other. Come back home. You belong here. Any kind of sukha suffers from a few fallacies, doshas. First one is that it is anitya. Anitya means non-permanent. Here today, gone today. Doesn't wait till tomorrow. Here now, gone now. Anitya. Then the second problem is that it is atriptikaram. It does not give any kind of jagat-based satisfaction, does not give you contentment. It gives a kind of contentment that is very, very precarious and makes you look for more somewhere else. That's why the person becomes a, becoming person. I want to become this, I want to become that, I want to become more famous, I want to become more accomplished, I want to become more rich, I want to become more secure. One catapults into a becoming life. Atriptikaram. Anityam, atriptikaram. And then it's filled with dosha, filled with finitude, and filled with the fallacies of all kinds of problems, in the sense that it is not available all the time. It is not centered on the object. You cannot say, this object makes me happy. How long can it make you happy? 2 minutes, 10 minutes? No, it always makes me happy. It does not. If you're in a bad mood, it doesn't make you happy. Even the most loved thing doesn't make you happy. And so, because of this, the Jagat Sukha, the Sukha that is produced by contact with the Jagat, contact of the sense organs with the sense object, the mind, etc., is always fraught with incompleteness. It does not let me fulfill the quest, because it leaves me hanging, wanting more and more and more. That's why in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, this disconnection is done by sage Yajnavalkya talking to his wife Maitreyi. Atmanastu kamaya sarvam priyam bhavati. So that which is priya and vipriya, that which is priya is what? Is not centered on the anatma, the not I, the Jagat. It is centered on I. And he explains this further through examining a series of relationships. Nava are patyuhu kamaya patif priyo bhavati. Nava are patyuhu kamaya patni priya bhavati. Atmanastu kamaya patni priya bhavati. Nava are patyuhu kamaya. Like this he says, not indeed, O dear one. For the sake of the husband, the wife becomes dear. The wife is not dear to the husband for the sake of the wife. She is dear for his own sake, not for her own sake. Similarly, the wife loves the spouse not for his sake, but for her own sake. What does this mean? The Bhaja Govindam tells this very nicely, explains this wonderfully. The same person who said, I cannot live without you, and made all these declarations of the highest love, then what happens? One day that person dies away. And then the spouse says, get this thing out of here. The same body with which the person was completely in love with, that body, mind, sense complex, when the Atma is withdrawn from the body, when that life force, that Atma is gone, the body which was an object of love becomes an object of distaste. In other words, he does not love her, he loves himself. She does not love him, she loves herself. The children don't love the parents, they love themselves. And the parents do not love the children, they love themselves. Then what's the use of these relationships? In these relationships, that love comes out. The pleased person occasionally comes out to say hello, to say how are you. So then that pleasure which is already the source of the truth of oneself, Sukham Brahma, Sukham Atma, that sukha gets expressed sometimes in relationships. That's why I make a wrong conclusion, a wrong inference here, a wrong anumana, that this person is the cause of my happiness and that person is the cause of my sorrow. This is a wrong anumana, totally wrong anumana. A wrong inference, wrongly used, coming to obviously the wrong conclusion. What is the wrong conclusion? You make me happy. And if you are not there, I am sad. Don't worry. Even when I am there, you are sad. This is what you have to tell. Because this is just like the dog and bone story. The dog chewing on a dry bone thinks. What does it think? What a juicy bone. God has given me a juicy bone. The juice, really speaking, is the blood from the gums of the dog, which the dry bone is scratching against. Does the juice belong to the dog or the bone? Dog. Raso bhaisaha rasagrihyevayam labdhva nandi bhavati. This is confirmed by the Taittiriya Upanishad. Raso vaisaha. This, the juiciest thing in the world is Atma. Rasa means juice. The tattva of everything, the truth of everything, the sara, the essence of it. That which makes you happy is yourself alone. And gaining this Atma through knowledge, through understanding this as myself, Nandi bhavati. Nandi bhavati becomes the Nandi sitting in front of Shiva? No. Anandi bhavati. Nand, to rejoice. Anandi bhavati. Revels in the truth of oneself. That is why Jagat is what? Dukkha. And what is Sukha? Atma. Atmanastu kamaya sarvam priyam bhavati. Everything becomes dear for the sake of Atma alone, nothing other than that. Then, sixth one we will just read and look at it in the next class. Samashtivyashtirupau dvau padarthau sarvasammatau samashtirishvaro vyashtihi Jivo Vedanta Dindimaha. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadagya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.